this is Brian.
And I'm Logan, and this is Tops. Sup. And this is Bottoms. Sup. Oh, and this is Triples. Sup. Avocados. Dragons linking away. And we're Crush Cards. Hi, team. Happy Monday, my marvelous meatballs. How are you feeling? It's November now. Golly, thank God October's over. Here we are. It's Christmas. But before we get into today's meta deck profile, we have some new suns to share with y'all. Believe it or not, on Amazon, we found two suns that actually look just like Tops. They were the only ones on the internet. Look at them! Don't be fooled. These are two totally different suns. Everyone, meet Chuck. Chuck. He hasn't really got a voice yet. We're working on it. And Cheddar is Cheddar. He looks a lot like Bottoms, but he's a little less cross-eyed than Bottoms, and his snout's a little different. We'll go through more differences later, but I just wanted to introduce you to Chuck and Cheddar. Say hi.
Like Chuck and Cheese. Like Chuck E. Cheese. Wow.
And a non-alpaca related sun. A lot of you guys were really excited about this one on Instagram and Discord the other day. Meet our son, Hebby. We got him on stream like a week ago, and we ordered him on Etsy from like this person who makes little plushy Tsuchinokos. And it's literally Tsuchinoko from the Dangers. We were talking about the lore, and he's got a little tail, and it's so
He's really cute.
He's so soft. He was literally $13 if you want to. I'll put the link in the description and see if there's still any on sale. But meet Hebby. He's happy to see you.
So speaking of Instagram, yesterday we put up a post asking y'all exactly what you wanted to see for today. It was a really, really close tie between this and Generators, but this actually did win. So we're going to actually be doing a little bit of a different style deck profile today because this deck has been meta for at least a year, if not a year and a half now. Everyone knows what this deck does, so we're going to fly through it, showcase the combos, and then showcase the weak points and the choke points because that's really what you need to know when it comes to this deck. I feel like when it comes to learning how to beat some of the meta decks out there, you need to learn how to play them. Don't worry about that. We've got you covered. We're here right now. We're going to show you how to play the deck, where to stop it, and what is the most impactful points to do so.
But before we get into the video, it's always nice to have you guys subscribe to the channel, throw this video a like, make sure your notification bell is turned on because then you'll know exactly when we put new videos up, and it's really cool. And you get to be part of the sub squad, and feel free to comment as many of the names of the alpaca sons as you can. If you've been part of the sub squad long enough, you should be able to name at least 3. They're literally in the beginning of the video. I want to test your knowledge. We also have an Instagram. It's at CrushCardsYGO. We're on there all the time, post to post, answering messages and doing fun polls, kind of like we did today, so make sure you're there. We also have a super wholesome Discord community. It's absolutely bopping. It's a good time. We now just surpassed 1,400 people in the Discord, which is absolutely amazing, so feel free to come hang out with us. We're super wholesome. And then last but not least, if you want to further support the channel, we have a Patreon. Bloopers just went up for October, and let me tell you, it's 11 minutes of pure hilarity. You don't want to miss out. But don't worry, if you can't, that's fine. We're just happy you're here to hang out and talk about this god-awful deck with us.
So as we said before, we're going to be doing an abridged version of this deck profile. We're going to actually be going through every single engine that is in this deck instead of the card by card, just kind of demonstrating exactly what they do, what they provide for the deck, and then going through the entire combo tutorial to showcase what this deck is capable of.
Pew on the rocket! Pew! Destroy myself! Activate effect! I was Rocket Tracer for Halloween.
Thanks for that one, Triples.
No problem, Dad.
So there's 3 versions of this deck currently going around. There was a 60 card version, a 50 card version, and then the most popular right now is the 40 card version. We are currently playing a 42 card list. You can definitely trim this down to 40 cards. We will tell you exactly what those 2 cards are that you can cut. But this is easily one of the best combo decks, and the reason is, as many decks, it's made up of multiple engines in this current format. So the first engine is our Rocket engine. For our Rocket engine, we are playing the 1 copy of the Magna Rocket Dragon, 1 copy of the Rocket Recharger, and then 2 copies of Rocket Tracer, and then triple copies of Quick Launch, and then the 1 copy of the Boot Sector Launch. You only play Boot Sector because it is searchable, so you only need to play it at 1. Quick Launch, if anything, in my honest opinion, is probably one of the cards that could have a target on its back because it is a not hard once per turn. Special summon any rocket monster from your deck. Rocket Tracer is a tuner, so it's free needle fiber access most of the time. Recharger is just a really, really good follow-up, and Magna Rocket is really good. Just in case you open the Recharger, you have another level 4 rocket monster in your deck, so you always have combo. It's a really, really weird situation, but sometimes it does come up. When a Link monster targets it, it blows itself up, and then non-targeting, non-destruction sends any monster on the field to the graveyard. So it can be your Dragoon out, it can be any protected monster like an Avermax or a BLS Link. It just like, it outs it super easily, so definitely decided to include it. And then Rocket Tracer is probably the most broken card in the deck because it is just a quick effect to pop any face-up card on the field and special summon a rocket monster from your deck. And then moving off into probably the best starter engine, we are playing triple copies of the Black Metal Dragon, the 1 copy of Red MD, and then the 1 copy of 1 for 1. When Black Metal Dragon is sent from the field to the graveyard, it just searches Red MD, and then 1 for 1 is a free Black Metal Dragon directly to your side of the field. Black Metal Dragon is a 1-card combo for full board. It's absolutely insane, and it's easily the best card to open for the entire deck. And then moving off into our Chaos package, we are playing double copies of Safer, the 1 white and the 1 black dragon, the 1 copy of Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, and then the 3 copies of Chaos Space.
That's not an ulti-Legionnaire.
It's not. It's okay. We have one. Safer is really good because it's basically Chaos Space, the monster. You can send any number of dragon monsters from your hand or field to the graveyard and then search any monster with that level that it was sent. So basically, you just send Safer from the field to the graveyard and search a level 4, or you send Safer and like a rocket monster, which is also level 4, and search a level 8. It also has the effect where when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to add back Legionnaire. White Dragon or Black Dragon are obviously just self-explanatory. They special summon themselves, they search themselves. Chaos Space is just really, really good in the deck because it allows you to search anything. It's also a 1-card starter. It just gets you a lot of extension throughout the deck. Now, Safer is one of those cards that a lot of people are playing at 1 or 3. I personally think that 2 for me is the sweet spot. There's a ton of ways to start your engine, but you also want to have ways to play through Interruption because this being one of the best decks in the format, people are going to try to stop you in any single way that they can. So having more extension, playing a 42 card list, if you want to cut Safer, feel free, but I think 2 is perfectly fine with me. And then for our tuner package, we're playing the 1 White Rose and the 1 Red Rose Dragon. Self-explanatory, everyone knows what they do. The 1 Buster Dragon Destruction Sword, it's for the Buster lock. A 1 Dragonity Phalanx, and then obviously a Equip Spell. And then the 1 Omni Dragon Brotar. This card is just insane in the deck. It allows you to search anything and everything. It also has a really, really good protection effect. When any monster that you have is destroyed by card effect or by battle, he can special summon himself. And then on special summon, you target any monster on the field, discard a card, and then search a monster with the same type and attribute. Typically, it's going to be itself or like an LP or a Piston. You're searching a Dark Dragon 9 times out of 10. And then for probably the best extender in the deck, we are playing double copies of Noctovision Dragon. I think this card could be played at 3, but I wanted to stick to as close as 40 as possible. So 2 is really, really good. You see it just when you need it. You don't brick on it. You don't clog on it. But when a dark monster is special summoned, you just special summon this card from your hand. And then whenever this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, you draw a card. So it's just like a chain block. It draws you a card. It's a free body. It's a free dragon. It's just really, really insane. And then for the best extender in the entire deck, we are playing triple copies of World Legacy Guard Dragon. A lot of builds I've seen have been playing 2 of this in 1 Monster Reborn. I think that is super incorrect. World Legacy Guard Dragon is the best extender because not only is it a Monster Reborn for the deck, but it also allows you to move any dragon if and when you get hand trapped.
Oh, hey, LP. Still legal. Scoot, scoot. LP, scoot.
And then for our hand trap lineup, because once again, meta deck, you want to be able to compete as much as possible. We are playing the entire Gamma package. We are main decking Nibiru, and we are playing triple copies of Infinite Impermanence.
Nice. That's all really budget, especially the last thing. But don't worry, it's gonna be a gold rare now, guys. That looks really good. Can't wait. Super hype.
I will say, depending on your meta and depending on where you are currently in the region where you're playing, whether it's your locals, friends, online, Nibiru has been really, really good in the main deck, but I've also tested Lancia in the main deck. Lancia is currently in the side deck. You could swap Nibiru and or Lancia. You could play 2-in-1, 3-in-1. It's really up to you, but Lancia is really, really crucial in this format, especially with dinosaurs running around. And in this deck, you only need to play it at 1 because if you know your matchup, it is searchable. But yeah, this is that hodgepodge of a Dragon Link deck. I think this is what most Dragon Link decks are kind of looking like right now, minus like a card or 2. So moving on into the extra deck, there is literally 1 flex spot. Every single Dragon Link deck in like the metagame right now looks exactly the same, and the difference is we are playing 2 copies of Striker Dragon, where some lists are playing 3. That is the only flex spot, is the 3rd Striker Dragon. We'll get into why I'm not playing that. It's totally up to y'all. Obviously, LP, Pisty, Link Cross, Fiber, Union Carrier, self-explanatory.
Generic.
The Buster Destruction Whelp guy, he's just literally just a Dragon Link 2 that's a light.
Feel free to go watch the Buster Blader lore and the Danger lore, which is now up. They're both great.
Playing the Heratic, Romulus, Saryuja, which is the other spot that I'm choosing to play for Striker Dragon instead of the 3rd Striker Dragon.
Sword.
Wow.
The not ugly version. We're not playing that new alternate art, guys. Loyalty lies here.
And then every single combo deck in the entire format is playing the Marcher, the Herald, and the Borreload Savage Dragon. So the 1 Skuldred is definitely a personal opinion. A lot of players are playing the 1 extra Striker Dragon, or some players are also playing the Delingerous Dragon, or Dill.
Got a name. Dilly boy. Dilly dilly.
Shout out to the DB Grinder for naming him Dill. Always reminds me of pickles. But the reason I personally like to play Skull Dread is because in games 2 and 3, you can just go into Skull Dread and it allows you to dig for your side cards more. Once again, side decks will all be on Patreon. It is not a cheap side deck, heads up. But Skull Dread just allows you to see some of those cards, your blowout cards, allow you to go first even more successfully and just have a better match and a higher win rate.
Yeah, because that's what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is about. No fun, only high win rate, tier 0, broken, absolutely smashes the meadow, will elbow your opponent in the face with your win rate.
Alright, let's get into what this deck can do.
For this portion where we show off everything, I just wanted to show this adorable new metal Appaloosa Field Center we got from KGT Gaming, I believe, on Facebook, and it's absolutely perfect. It's metal. Ding ding. It's got like the sleeve, like card sleeve background, and then it's got the bear. Nobody has to panic. The bear survived for this, and it's just really cute. I just thought it was cool. I saw the guy on Facebook selling them, and I'm like, oh, rad. Pretty neat.
Not sponsored, just really cool.
Yeah,
really enjoyed the product, so we figured we support them.
Just like an impulse buy one night, and it was cheap and good, and happy I got it, frankly. So if you see it on Facebook, thank KGT. Beep beep.
Alright, so we're going to shuffle the deck real quick and just try to demonstrate what this deck can do. This deck is super duper insane, which is probably why it's the best combo deck of the format. Literally any one card starter gets you full board, and then the rest of your hand is just extenders to play through hand traps, which is why this deck is so hard to beat in arguably the top tier contender.
Oh boy, I can't wait to watch this, but it's okay. We're going to educate you on how to win.
Okay, so we'll draw 5 cards. Red MD, Divine Lance, Driver, World Legacy Guard Dragon, and Safer. Now this might not look like the best hand. We have 2 bricks, honestly, but once again, this deck can literally play through so many things. So we have a really good normal summon in Safer. We have an extender, an additional extender because of World Legacy Guard Dragon allowing us to move, and Red MD just allows us another body and or 2. So we are going to start off by normal summoning our Starly Safer, activate its effect by sending itself to the graveyard to search. We'll search our Black Dragon, and now we can just banish the Safer, special the Black Dragon, and then we can link the Black Dragon into our copy of Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon will always be Chainlink 1, and then Black Dragon will be Chainlink 2. The reason is because we have double extenders, and the Boot Sector launch is more important than the White Dragon. So Dragon Link is very known for chain blocking and trying to block your opponent's hand trap. So 2 will get us the White, and then 1 will get us the Boot Sector. Now, if we had the Chaos Space, we can actually just banish this, shuffle it back, draw a card, and then just get it back again with the Black Dragon, but we don't, which is totally fine. We still have 6 cards in hand, so we can now special summon the White by banishing the Black, and now we link for 2. We will special summon our Dragoonity Knight Romulus, and this is where Romulus would search the Dragoonity Divine Lance, but we opened it, so that's okay. We can still use it. All we have to do is activate it, targeting the Romulus, which will equip our Phalanx to it from our deck, and we'll just scooch our hand over here, and then obviously Phalanx will activate. We will unequip it. I always like to try to combo on one side and then have all my like starters and extenders on another side, and then we can use our Dragoonity Knight Romulus, link into our Link Across, and then Link Across will activate, special summoning 2 tokens. And then obviously, everyone's favorite play.
Oh boy, I can smell Metal Marcher from here.
We'll special summon our Metal Marcher, and then Metal Marcher will just bring back the Phalanx. And at this specific spot, this is where you bait Nibiru, because you obviously are just going to threaten Herald right here with a 3-tuner and a level 1. So even if they do Nibiru you, you still have the World Legacy Guard Dragon to bring anything back. Plus you have Red MD, which will banish a dragon monster on your field to special summon itself, and then another dragon monster to just go into your full Guard Dragon combo through Nibiru.
Wow, I hate this deck.
This is one of the reasons that this deck is very hard to beat, because the main choke point would have been the Romulus, but we opened up the Divine Lance, so it's really hard to stop it there, and a lot of the times that is also chain blocked by like a Black Dragon or a White Dragon, or by the Nocto Vision or any other extender. And we still have 4 cards in hand to allow us to play through. Our opponent doesn't know that one of them is a brick, but that's still okay. We have 3 other cards in which we can utilize. So assuming our opponent does not have Nibiru here, we will link here into our Needle Fiber. Where you summon Phalanx, it's the opposite side of the token because you have to have the arrows. So that will activate, getting our Red Rose Dragon from our deck. Now, once again, really hard, because even if they don't go for the Herald off the bat and they go for the Fiber, depending on the extenders in their hand, you should always assume that there's at least one. Even if you stop the Red Rose from coming out, there's still an extension to bring back another dragon 3/4 of the time to continually go into other dragon plays regardless. But once again, just for the sake of showing the combo, we will now synchro our 3-tuner and our level 1 token into our Herald, and now the red Rose Dragon will activate because it was used as synchro material, getting ourselves a white Rose Dragon from our deck. Now, this is honestly, in my personal opinion, one of the most fragile spots in the combo because yes, 2 hand traps realistically stop this deck or at least slow the deck down, but this is where you would stop the entire board. Obviously, it doesn't affect us in our hand because we have double extender. This acts as 2 and this is an additional 2 body, so we're really going to play through anything regardless. But the 2 hand traps that really combo well together against every combo deck in the format right now are Nibiru and Gamma. At this spot, you would reveal the Nibiru. Obviously, I would have to be forced to activate the Herald to negate that, and then you would Gamma the Herald, and then I would wipe my entire board, and you would hope at that point I don't have any other extenders. Unfortunately, this hand does so. But now we just go into our Guard Dragon play. This will make Elpie. This will make our second copy of Striker Dragon. Elpie, for anyone who doesn't know, does not have to be Elpie's arrow. It just has to be 2 arrows in which point to the same zone. So now we do have that. We can activate the Elpie, grabbing our Brotar directly from the deck, and then Brotar, because it was special summoned, will activate its effect. We can target any Dark Dragon on the field. We can just banish the red MD, and then we can search Rocket Tracer from our deck to our hand. If you already had Rocket Tracer access with like a quick launch or anything else, or you just opened it, this is where you would search Levianeer and rip a card out of your opponent's hand. But
fun.
You do need access to Tracer at some point in the combo. So now we are going to link 2 into our Protector Whelp, and then we'll link Brotar into our Pisty, and Pisty has the same clause as Elpie. It just has to be 2 arrows. It does not have to be Pisty's arrow.
I will say, it seems like this deck blows through the extra deck like really quickly, so like recovery must be rough.
Yeah, it's definitely not that amazing. I was testing a 50 card build where I was playing Pot of Avarice, and it just allows you to shuffle back a lot of your resources, draw additional cards, and kind of go through your combo again. But I will say, I do think that like playing this deck for at least a couple weeks now, you don't really need it, because if you're able to combo, you just really win the game. You don't need to go into that.
If you can establish the board, like how do you play through that? Like, I mean, yeah.
And then the Pisty can activate. We'll actually special summon back our Red MD that we banished off of the Herald. And then Red MD can activate, getting us back any dragon. It does not really matter at this specific spot. And now we'll link for 2.
Boy, this is a big old ladder we're on here.
Into our Heraldic Seal. We are now officially nearing our end board. We can link to, again, going into our Union Carrier. So now we can activate our Boot Sector Launch, which will then allow us to special summon our Rocket Tracer from our hand. Rocket Tracer will activate, popping the Boot Sector Launch to special summon our Rocket Recharger from our deck. Now we can just sync our 4 and our 4.
Oh, what level 8 synchro could we possibly be going into? What a joke.
And then we'll go into our Savage. Savage will obviously activate.
Lots of choices in there.
The biggest one is Fiber, so we'll just grab our Needle Boy.
Our soupy soupy.
Yeah, and then obviously that'll give him 2 counters.
Merry Christmas. I've got this adorable little Santa dice. You see Santa in there? Ho, ho, ho. We're getting close, team. It's officially Christmas. Hang on, I gotta find the number 2. Doink.
It goes on
Oh,
Savage
sorry.
soon.
I don't know why I did that.
And then a lot of people may be asking why I saved the World Legacy Guard Dragon and chose not to special summon something back off of Pisty. The reason that I like to go for like the Red MD is because Red MD is kind of big.
He's thick though.
So we're going to activate our Union Carrier targeting the Red MD and equip our Buster Destruction Whelp little sword little guy.
The Locky Lou.
And the reason that I choose to do it on Red MD, typically if we were able to search the Levianeer, I would do it on that because a lot of people, though they will equip to Savage, Savage already has 2 negates and your opponent's already trying to out the Savage. So even if they do out the Savage, they have to out this now 3,800 monster with the Buster Whelp on it. Plus they have a Herald to get over, and then the Heraldic is going to bounce a card and then get another monster on our side of the field. Plus, we do have a Brotar in our graveyard just in case anything were to happen. So this is the typical Dragon Link end board. You don't always end on Red MD, you can always end on the Levianeer, or if you weren't able to get there, you can still equip the Buster to your Savage and still have the extra deck locked with at least 2 negates, plus a Herald, plus the Heraldic. So as Logan did point out, there are 2 cards left in our extra deck, and they are both Link 4s. So realistically, that is why a lot of people do choose to play the 3rd Striker Dragon, because any level 4 or lower dragon becomes that Link 1, and it just gives you a lot of recursive ability to get to your Boral Sword. It is personal preference. I have tested 3. I do like the 3rd one. The extra deck is just super duper tight. So I think one of the best side deck options, especially because this deck does not see the hand like Infinite Noble Knights does and does not rip cards. Obviously, Dark Ruler is still really really good against this deck. You will have to out the Buster Lock, but if you're able to shut off the entire board and you can use monster effects, it's kind of easy to do depending on your hand. Also, things like Sphere Mode for decks that don't need their normal summon, you just tribute the big problematic cards, or like Lava Golem has been seeing a little bit more play. And I know it's not like everyone's favorite card in the game, but let's be honest, if you bait the Herald and you bait the Boardload Savage Dragon, slap Mystic Mine on the field and call it a GG.
Oh boy, big brain plays right there.
But what if you're playing like the third best deck in the meta right now, which is Dinosaurs, and you don't need your extra deck, and you do main deck cards like Dark Ruler or Mystic Mine or stuff like that? Well, for all of our Dragon Link players, this little guy, unfortunately, does nothing, so get him out of here. Union Carrier can actually target any card on your field with the same type and or attribute and equip it. So we can equip our artifact Lancia to Union Carrier because they are both light monsters. But Erratic Seal says that during your opponent's turn, while this card is in the extra monster zone, quick effect, you can tribute one monster from your hand or field and return one face-up card on the field to the hand. And then if this card was tributed, you can special summon a dragon. So during your opponent's standby phase, especially in the Dinosaur matchup, you would activate this, tributing itself to bounce back the Lancia to your hand. And then
Doesn't have to be your opponent's stuff. You can bounce your own things.
here we'll just special summon Seyfert. It can really be any dragon that you need, but Seyfert does give you the most utility. And then now you have a hand trap live in your hand, especially in the Dinosaur matchup. If you're still in the standby phase, you just activate this. It's literally in FTK because they can't banish for Miss. They can't get anything for Conductor. It literally, you just win the game. It's insane.
They're just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just go extinct. It's fine. Goodbye.
This is obviously in the side deck, so that's more for games 2 and 3. But as we said before, if you want to choose to main deck one copy because in your specific area you do feel like these cards are way more impactful, feel free to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, obviously assess your meta of wherever you are, who you're playing often, and make these choices on your own.
We're going to do one more test hand and just showcase what it would look like if you had some of the best and most high impact hand traps, where you would activate them, and how it would impact this deck. Let's try to showcase a hand that's still realistic, but just not as insane. So in the top left corner, we have the most high impact hand traps for the current format right now, especially for this deck. They are probably the ones that have the most impact. So we're going to do another quick test hand and just showcase where they are best placed throughout the sequence.
Okay, so we're gonna make the deck stop. Got it.
Hopefully. All right, let's draw our first 5. Quick launch, really good. Tracer, which is basically quick launch.
Great.
Ooh, Recharger. So we have 3 rockets in our hand right now. Gamma and Black Metal. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, basically 4 cards. This is going to be really, really hard to stop.
Great.
But what we're going to do is we are going to normal summon our Black Metal, Link away, as before, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So a hand trap we don't have on the screen right now that does actually hurt this deck a darn chunk is Droll.
Roll and rock 'em, sucker.
So we did open the Rocket Tracer, which does help, but Droll really hurts this deck. So we can activate the Red MD, special summoning it by banishing our Striker Dragon, and then Red MD can activate. Now, this is where you take a chance. A lot of people will choose not to hit this, because if there is another extender in the hand, they will get 2 dragons regardless. But now you can just special back another dragon. 2 dragons is full combo, so heads up, if you're trying to stop your opponent from getting to those 2 dragons, you could imperm the Red MD. I don't really recommend it, but some people have done it. In this specific hand, we could totally play through it because we do have the boot sector and we have quick launch. So most people will allow that to go through. So we're just going to link here for our Dragoonity Knight Romulus.
Hit the Romulus. We don't want Romulus to have a good time.
Yeah, so Romulus is honestly probably the best choke point because in this test hand, we did not open our way to Phalanx. So we are going to just Gamma the Romulus.
No dragons were
Bam.
choked in the making of this video.
So not only is this negated, but it's destroyed.
Bye.
This is the best spot to honestly hit this deck, and this is the best hand trap to hit it with.
But why, oh mighty Metamaster?
Well, realistically, I mean, this hand is nuts because we opened up 3 dragons still, but this does not give them the 2 arrows. It also doesn't give them that free tuner that they can get back with Metal Marcher. The levels are actually really important, so not being able to get to Phalanx is very, very crucial. So now we have 0 cards on our board. We do have 5 cards in hand to still play with. Okay, so this is really hard to kind of play through. We're just gonna, this is banished, we're gonna put them down here. So we are gonna activate our boot sector launch. Boot will activate specialing both rockets from our hand. Realistically, this is not the best line to play, obviously. I mean, like, this is just, it's not the best, fam, but we opened 2 different rockets. Typically with a hand like this, you cannot play and go full combo, especially with the Gamma on the Romulus. But we do have 2 monsters, one of which is a tuner. So we can link for 2 into our Needle Fiber, and then Fiber will activate. So Fiber will bring out our Phalanx, and then we will link here into our Link Cross. So now Link Cross will activate. This is the other choke point of the deck. If you do have like a Gamma-ing the Link Cross is actually very painful as well. Or if you wanted to save the Imperm, hit the Romulus with Imperm, and then Gamma the Link Cross, that will 100% stop the turn. Once again, we did open up really, really well. That's why this deck is really good, because every hand is extremely playable. So obviously we did activate Gamma, which would probably hint that we don't have Impermanence. So Nibiru is the only other hand trap that could really stop it. This is more than 5 summons, but Link Cross could get us 2 tokens. Obviously we would just make Marcher again. Marcher effect, bring back the Phalanx. And then we did already go through the Fiber. Personally, I think this is the proper place to Nibiru, because now they've gone through the Marcher and they are kind of threatening Herald here. So this is definitely where you want to Nibiru the most. As we said, you already activated Gamma. It literally did absolutely nothing. Once again, opened up really, really well. So it's kind of hard to determine what is in the other player's hand. But let's say that they did activate Nibiru. They revealed it. They tributed their own Gamma, obviously, and then they wiped our entire board. Now we're stuck with a big fat Nibiru token here. We can still activate the quick launch, special our Rocket Tracer, and then obviously Tracer could pop the Nibiru token. As we said, special out our Magna Rocket Dragon from our deck. Now we are locked into Dark Monsters, so we can only go into a Savage, which is okay. We do have a Gamma for like follow-up if our opponent does happen to clear the Savage, which is kind of cool. And the reason that I would pop the token instead of the Boot Sector Launch is because if your opponent does establish a board, Boot Sector Launch allows you to special summon monsters from your graveyard with the rocket in their name, obviously, up to the number of differences that you guys share on your field. So if your opponent has 2 and you have 0, you obviously get to special summon those monsters. So it's really cool, but we'll continue off through 2 hand traps, still ending on a Borreload Savage, activate its effect, equipping the Needle Fiber for 2 negates still. We still have a Gamma in hand, and we have the Boot Sector follow-up. Through 2 hand traps, our opponent is going to start their turn with 4 cards. So it is a really, really decent open against that, but they have 4 cards, whereas you have 1 negate. So this is unfortunately one of those decks where 2 hand traps, 3 hand traps totally stops the entire deck. I really wish that we could showcase you guys like 1 specific hand trap that stops the deck and in 1 specific spot, or 1 specific hand trap that just shuts the entire thing off, but you can't really know your opponent's hand, plus all the extenders that they have. Once again, we opened really, really well, so it's hard to know what and when to hit. You just have to time your hand traps well and hope that you can combine it with a little bit of luck that your opponent doesn't have 4 more extenders in their hand. But that's the deck, Tops.
That's it. That's all this boring deck has to show you. For all of you who want to be meta, congrats. This is the choice you made. For all of you who are sticking with Rogue, God help us.
This is unfortunately one of the main reasons that this is a quote-unquote hand trap format, because 1 hand trap does not stop decks like these.
Can't wait for the banless in December. Hopefully LP gets smacked or something, or Marcher, or I don't know anymore.
All of it. Ban all of it.
Ban the deck.
Dark Magician, best deck 2021.
Yeah, we're going back to our roots, you know? Bloopy best deck. Speaking of Bloopy, we got a Bloopy profile coming real soon. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. We hope this was at least informative for all of you players who wanted to learn about the deck more. And for those of you who played the deck, I hope we gave it a good representation and let us know how your build is. We really just wanted to show how to play through this deck, how to hit it, and kind of just help everyone be more informed with how they play. Don't worry, this meta will be over soon. We'll all be okay. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. We love you. You matter. We'll see you for Phantom Rage opening and giveaway this week. So you better hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because you could win a whole darn box.
All for yourself.
But the boys are going to say bye. I hope you guys have a marvelous Monday, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.